Hello, Daddy. Hello, Mom. It's your Cherry Bob. Hi guys, and welcome back to my channel. It's your girl Yummy.com, and today I'm going to be talking about shows that were wrongfully canceled in my mind. Now, I may or may not have already talked about shows that have been canceled on certain networks or certain platforms, but today we're going to hit all of the major platforms. Yes, I'm coming for you, CW, ABC, NBC, all of you. I'm coming for your brand. Not really coming for your brand. I really appreciate the work you do. But there's some shows that I feel like did not get their due justice, did not get their time in the sun. You know, just were cut off way too soon.
Because why? Why would they do this?
We're going to talk about that.
I don't know if you guys can tell from where you're sitting. You probably
trusty dusty.
It's trash.
So we're going to talk about that. And for that, I'm going to need my trusty dusty phone. I have an extensive list. It's pretty long, so bear with me. I'm going to try and zoom through these as quickly as possible, but also give them the time that they deserve. And first, we're going to talk about Fox. Fox! Yes, Fox, our lovely network that gives us all of our great comedies. So good, but there are some comedies that have been proven that you've given up on them just a little too soon. The first one we're going to talk about is not a comedy, ironically. It is a drama. It is a superhero drama. As you can see, I'm wearing my Avenging shirt. Superhero drama. And it is actually a Marvel drama. It is The Gifted. The Gifted was a great show about the superhero underground and about their fight against humanity to try and, you know, be recognized as humans, as mutants, but like not as just these freaks that need to be detained and wrongfully arrested. Hits a sore spot, especially when you're a person of color, because you're just like, oh my god, mutants are just people of color if you think about it, with superpowers. So
the X-Men, the Brotherhood, we don't even know if they exist anymore. But we're getting
so
picked off one by one.
Thunderstorm.
Yes,
Thunderstorm, sorry.
It's also
there's Thunderbird, there's Blink, there's the thing, but it's so good. There's Thunderbird, there's Blink, there's like Strucker Twins, and there's just a whole mountain of these mutants who are so cool and such varied backstories that they could have told, that they cut off too soon. They literally ended on a cliffhanger. Blink coming back from the future to tell them something, and we don't know what it was. And there's just a whole mountain of these mutants who are so cool and such variant backstories that they could have told, that they cut off too soon. They literally ended on a cliffhanger of Blink coming back from the future to tell them something, and we don't know what it was. Like, as far as we know, we've lost a hero, and Blink could tell us that he's still alive, but we will never find out because Fox canceled the show. It was a great show. A great dynamic between the brother and sister, which was good and great and gave great character stories, great arcs, but also kind of hurts your heart because you see these two pieces that just belong together be torn apart. And that's how season 1 ended. Like, the tearing of that was probably the best and worst part about the last season, because they weren't together the whole season, so you didn't get to see their powers as much together. You got to see them individually, which was good and great and gave great character stories, great arcs, but also kind of hurts your heart because you see these two pieces that just belong together be torn apart. And that's how season 1 ended. Like, the tearing of apart. The season 2 told the stories of them separate, and season 3 was supposed to be telling them together what it would be like if they were back together and fighting on the same side, but we will never see that. And I think that it's one of the biggest injustices Fox has given us. Now for our next one, we are going to go to Red Band Society. Red Band Society was a show about a hospital. All these kids, first of all, I found the show because of Sierra. I believe her name is Sierra. She used to be on Big Time Rush. I loved her on Big Time Rush. And then she moved on to this show, Red Band Society. And I was like, okay, I'm digging it. But really, it was just this beautiful story about kids who lived in the hospital with terminal illnesses or different types of cancers, and how they coped with daily life, how they fell in love. It just kind of normalized the people not the people. It normalized the people in the show. It normalized the people who have not like mental illnesses, but like physical illnesses and how people treat them. But it just showed overall how normal and regular they were and how they just wanted to thrive for a better life, for a chill life where they could just be normal.
I have cancer in my leg. Dr. McCann just taking it off tomorrow.
You're gonna get through it.
It's easy for you to say.
Not really.
Look at you two, all matchy-matchy with your Hot Wheels.
The weird thing about a hospital.
Hey.
You become friends with kids that you would never know in a million years.
Are you gonna eat your lunch?
What kind of question is that?
I have cigarettes and diet pills if you get hungry.
I don't smoke, drink, or do drugs.
So unhealthy, right? Not like starving yourself.
We few, we happy few, we band of brothers. For he today that sheds his blood with me shall be my brother.
It was kind of like on the wave of The Fault in Our Stars, but before 5 Feet Apart. So it was like kind of writing this like young YA, like sick kid falling in love story. But it was a great show, had great character dynamics, and it got cut off way too soon. It was so sad to see it go. The next one we have is I Hate My Teenage Daughter. This show, I Hate My Teenage Daughter, was literally Mom, the show that's on TBS, I believe Mom is on TBS, but it's kind of like that show. It's like the story dynamic of a mother and her daughter, and the way that this story was told, I think, was so different than the way that Mom is told. Mom is told from the strifes and struggles of a grown woman daughter and the struggles that she had with her mother and how they both suffer from addiction and all these different things.
All to be blaming all your problems on your mother.
Hi, Mom. While other mothers were cooking dinner, you were cooking meth.
Otherwise known as working.
I've watched you lick cocaine crumbs out of a shag carpet.
It's not a sin to be thrifty, dear.
And how she had her own teenage daughter, but you didn't see her a lot in the show. Like, not too much after a certain season. And this show was like my actual teenage daughter. And it was pure comedy gold.
You don't know how to dress. Who says that?
Tell you who says that.
A bitch.
Oh, God, here she comes.
She's with that other one.
Hey, Mom.
Mother.
It was comedy gold. It had I was gonna call her Jessica. It had Jamie Presley in it, and Jamie Presley, I love her. She's so funny, so charismatic as a person, and it was just a great show overall. Like, it just told a phenomenal story that was so funny. It was meant to be funny, not necessarily have these deeper meanings like everything else, but like just be pure funny. And if it told a story that was like related to you, then it was purely by accident, but like also pure greatness.
Hey, I busted my butt to get here. Sophie's happy. I'm not gonna be afraid of you tonight.
We'll see.
Excuse me, are you questioning my mothering skills, Gary?
I'm just saying.
Maybe I'm not perfect. I have been known to do things, like accidentally season my pasta with bath salts. But when it comes to raising Mackenzie, that is what I do. It's my job, and I am damn good at it.
Oh, hey, honey, you okay?
I really wish you would have checked with me before you decided to wear that outfit.
Huh?
Every boy at this party, including Kyle, keeps staring at you. This is inappropriate.
Hey, you know what? I didn't even want to dress up. I wanted to get a 6-foot sub and throw cheese puffs at people's heads, but no, you and Mackenzie wanted to be sophisticated.
Look, I'm asking you nicely. Go to your room and change into something decent.
This is not fair.
Well, no one ever said life was fair.
This sucks!
I heard that!
So it was just hard to let go of that show. And our last one, not our last one, actually. Our notable one from Fox is Brooklyn Nine-Nine. Fox, you canceled Brooklyn Nine-Nine, Lin-Manuel Miranda's favorite show. Like, that's crazy to me. Like, Brooklyn Nine-Nine is such an amazing show. It was by far the best programming you had on Fox at the time. thank goodness NBC rescued it, and we got to see more seasons. We got to see Amy give birth. We got to see the greatness that is the dynamic of Peralta and his whole squad. Rosa Diaz, we got to see her be our bisexual queen.
I've only had Arlo for a day and a half, but if anything happened to him, I would kill everyone in this room and then myself.
Very violent eulogy. I like it.
I'll pay for that.
I'm sorry you screwed up my case. I'm sorry you're a terrible cop. I'm sorry for your goat face and your rodent brain and your weird goose body. I meant all of that. I hope you feel better.
Like, we got to see Holt do his Holt thing, like just move the world. Like, that's the stuff we needed.
Years from now, they could be walking down the street looking for their kid's moo-moo and get stopped by a bad cop. And they probably won't get to play the police card to get out of trouble. There's politics to being a cop. But I wasn't harassed for being a cop. I was harassed as a black man.
We needed, I don't know where, I know where my life would be, but like Brooklyn Nine-Nine is by far one of my favorite shows to date. Like, that is still airing 100%. It probably is my favorite show that is still airing, my favorite comedy that is still airing to date. It's my favorite. Like, I can honestly say that it's my favorite. And the fact that Fox let it go, thank goodness for NBC, but like the fact that Fox let it go just shows kind of how they like fumble the bag. And Fox has a lot of those. Like, Fox has a lot of shows where they just like fumbled the bag and someone else bought it and it became a hit. Like, it not became a hit, it was always a hit, but like the fandom was just so appreciative of it and they made so much more money off of it. So that's kind of where I lie with that. I think that Fox fumbles the bag a lot, especially when it came to Brooklyn Nine-Nine. That was the most like obvious one of like, you have fumbled this bag, sir. Our last one from Fox for now, like maybe we'll do a part 2 of this, but from Fox, the last one that I have to talk about is Pitch. Pitch was the show. It was all about this female black woman who was the first female to play baseball in Major League Baseball. It told the story of her stripes, what she went through as an athlete, what she had to go through to get to her position, and what she had to go through to keep her position.
Waitress, I'm a robot in cleats and I'm malfunctioning.
I think you're the first teammate to slap my ass to get a laugh from his friends.
No.
I played 2 years winter ball, 5 years in the minors. I've done stints in hellholes you haven't seen in a decade, superstar. Want to put on a show for your friends? Find another scene partner. I'm here to pitch. Any questions?
You're early.
Got biology working against me. Need to work harder than everyone else. What's your excuse?
I'm a 36-year-old catcher with bad knees. I have to work harder than everyone else, except apparently you. Oh.
Everybody dream to be winners. I don't chase dreams, I be hunting my premonitions. Destiny's what you make it, there's no such thing as a ceiling. I don't believe in the limit, that's why my reach is infinite. Going just as hard as game time when we in the scrimmage. Victory is not a gift, you must be gifted to get it. Earn your privilege and sprint with it. And those opposing will disintegrate. A deal with it, and that's real winning. Now you're strong Was an apprentice of failure, and now I'm Obi-Wan, showing y'all greatness. Learn lessons from mistakes. Your worst mistake now has to face me. Look at me.
Now you're strong enough. The strength within her brotherhood of friends.
And so she turned a sexist double standard on its head. Her very, very male teammates joined in and made this an equal opportunity photo spread. You can probably tell by the look on my face, I am very glad they did that.
That was her teammates, not all of them. It was just so good. Like, so many sports shows are so much of the same thing. Like, All American, as much as I love it, is like so much of like, it's just CW drama with sports. A lot of shows that have sports in them are just like regular shows with sports. This was telling a message. This was telling a beautiful story of a beautiful, strong woman. It had one of my favorite actresses, Kylie Bradbury, I believe her name is. She was in Twisted with Avenging and that girl from Finder who I really love. I can't remember her name, but like she's a phenomenal actress.
One's in my shoes. And woman to woman, screw you for putting that on me. You want to book me, call my agent, and she can say no. You don't like it, tough luck. A line of people are pissed off at me forms on the left. Have a good day.
She was also in that King Tut remake. Like, she's just so good and so charismatic. And then we had our hunk of our childhood, Zach Morris. Our hunka throb from Saved by the Bell. He was...
You know what? Screw all those adorable little girls in the crowd with their Ginny Baker signs, because you're not a Girl Scout leader, rookie. You're a ball player. You do this for you. You do this for your team, or you don't do it at all. Because you can't aim your pitches if you're aiming to please everyone. Did you know that she hums Katy Perry songs when she stretches, and not in key? That she loves grape soda and hates cilantro and can spend almost a half hour explaining why? No. I do. Because I've spent about 100 more hours talking to her than you. And I'm not falling in love with her. Blip goes back 5 years with her, back in the minors. He's not leaving his wife anytime soon for Ginny. You're not in love because you don't know her, and she sure as hell doesn't know you.
Is that what she's been humming when she's working out? Katy Perry?
That's how off-key she is. But if you listen carefully, it's the worst rendition of Firework you've ever heard.
We saw his struggle with him getting older, but still wanting to be a part of this team. It was such an amazing show. Like, it got the rights to put, like, actual footage in from the game. Like, it was like a mind-blowing show that told such an important story, because not only was she a woman, she was a black woman coming into, like, this white male dominated sport. Like, it was insane. Like, if she had joined basketball, like the first NBA player, like, yes, it would be groundbreaking, it would be moving, but like the WNBA exists, and also, like, you know, there's a lot of black people in basketball, so it doesn't hit as hard. But like baseball has a lot of people, like a lot of people of all color, but like predominantly it's known as like a white person sport, which is like not true, but like, because I like baseball, I played softball, but it was predominantly not, like, you know, known for that. And for this black woman of color, like, just to come in and run the game.
No, Skip. There's no way I'm not finishing this game. I'm going back out on that mound. You'll have to physically pull me off. I don't need a speech from you today. I don't need a speech from you, or my father, or my brother, or my agent. And I don't need some billionaire taking me all over the world as if I've got nothing else to do. He can come watch me train in Arizona if he wants to. I don't need a man to rescue me. I'm the one on the mound right now. Me. I throw the ball, I give the speeches, and I decide if you and I are going to talk about what happened the other night. Not you.
But you saw her faults, her mistakes, her strife, her dealing with the personal issues of her father, and how she has to get through the come up of her brother. Like, it was just an overall beautiful story that needed to be told, and that was very, very important, but was canceled after one season and left on a cliffhanger that we were all waiting for. Like, we were waiting for that kiss. We were...
Bye. You have an early flight.
Yeah.
We're just like, and we will never know now. Fox, we will never know. Like, you're beautiful and great company, but like, you fumbled the bag on that one. You could have told the story of every little black girl ever and just been a part of a movement, but you fumbled the bag. You fumbled it.
I'm doing this, so you better get your head around it, because the next time I bring this up, I want my husband to support me the same way I've supported him these past 9 years, unconditionally and without hesitation. That's the kind of response I'm looking for the next time we speak on this.
So, with that being said, we're going to go to our next station, channel, whatever you want to call it. The CW. The CW, I love the CW. It gave us the originals, which is constantly one of my favorite shows to ever air, to ever drop. I love that show. But there are some bags that were mishandled there. Let's be real here. No station is without their faults of fumbling such bags, but CW, while you didn't fumble as many bags as Fox, you still fumbled some bags. So we're going to talk about them. The first one we're going to talk about is The Messengers. The Messengers, listen, as a Christian, there are some shows I can't handle. There are some shows that I like. CW has put out Lucifer. Love that show. That is like so good, but like it's named Lucifer, like it's about the devil. I don't know if I should watch it as a Christian, like as the daughter of a pastor, like but like I watched it. It was so good. And you fumbled that bag, but we'll talk about that another time. But The Messengers was a story of the messengers of the apocalypse. It was so good. So good. The Messengers was the story of the messengers of the apocalypse and how they were fighting to save kind of humanity, how God gave them another chance to fight humanity. God gave them gifts to be able to save humanity and fight against the people that the devil had sent to, just kind of upend our world. It was a really good show. It was kind of crazy. Like the main character, again, a black woman. Love that. I always stand a black queen. There's not enough of us on TV, so I have to stand. But also, it was a genuinely well-written story with great characters. And it kind of like, the characters individually could have had their own spin-off shows individually because they were just so interesting. But then you put them all together and they kind of created this whole family dynamic that I really appreciate. It reminded me of King Arthur. You guys know I love that a lot. The round table of friends who just ride or die for each other. So it was just so good, but I felt so sad when it was gone. The next one is Life Unexpected. Now this one's different than every other one on the show because it had a couple seasons. It was like 3 seasons. Like that's a lot of seasons in television sometimes. Unless you're Grey's Anatomy or some NCIS spinoff or Criminal Minds, that's a lot of seasons. So I think that you fumbled it in the way of like, it wasn't properly wrapped up. Like there was a lot of seasons. There was a lot of things that were going on. It was great. It was basically this story of like how this man and woman had birth.
What is so important that you couldn't wait until after I was off the air?
Meet Lux, our daughter.
They didn't give birth. They had a baby in high school. She gave the baby up for adoption. She never told him she was pregnant. And then the baby, this girl Lux, who we all know her to be a beautiful actress, the girl who plays her. She's very famous now. She was in a movie with KJ Apa recently. I think they're dating. Britt Robertson. She used to be dating Dylan O'Brien. Whatever. She's been in a bunch of things. But anyways, she was an amazing actress.
Finally have a real mom, and what do? You sabotage it. God, you haven't screwed me enough already. You have to screw me over again?
You should go. This is the reason it didn't work out.
Oh, I'm the reason. I'm the problem. Yeah, I hit your stupid ass husband, but what about what he did to me? I didn't just push myself down a flight of stairs. I didn't just punch myself in the chest.
There were just so many great actors on that show, and the storylines were so interesting. It was such a diverse storyline based. I'm not saying the characters were diverse because they weren't, but it was all white people. But the fact of the matter is the storyline was so diverse and so different than anything that was being told. It came on around the same time as Switched at Birth, so I would bounce between the two, honestly, because I love Switched at Birth. I love the story of like people who didn't know their parents, but like they have to find this new balance. I love learning about family dynamics as it's happening.
I'm not going to do anything to go against your parents' wishes.
Thank you, Regina.
Since when? Actually, I'm fine with it, so that makes 2 parents against 1.
Catherine?
What? You and I spent time together when you were on the road when we were their age, and Toby is living in England with his girlfriend and baby, so...
That's different.
How?
Oh, moms, you guys are the best.
That's not racist either.
Look, this is nothing to do with you. Just stay out of it.
You punishing my mother for my father dying has nothing to do with me?
This is between me and Regina.
No, it's not. We are all in this, okay? And we are all getting tired of you lashing out at her.
Sorry if I'm not getting back to grill night fast enough for you.
You know what? You are not the only one going through stuff, so stop acting like a little brat.
Who are you people?
They're, my birth parents.
Yeah, Lux and I, we go way back, Your Honor.
To when? Yesterday?
And we bonded.
Oh.
Let me see that file, please.
Over what? A panda sneezing? You want a bond? Try being attached by an umbilical cord.
You know what? Like she remembers any of that.
No, because if she did, she'd remember what a jerk you were.
Okay, you know, I'm sorry. Forgive me that I had some dreams and some goals that I wanted to
What
accomplish.
goals? Do I own a loser bar with some stupid name?
Did you Google me?
Sir, you own your own business, is that correct?
Yes, Your Honor.
And you're a radio talk jockey. No criminal record, each in possession of a working vehicle.
I'm sorry, what is going on?
Okay, I'm going to be very straight with you. I am not granting you emancipation. You have no income. You have no permanent residence. You filed a fee waiver in order to cover your court costs. Now, Catherine Cassidy and Nathaniel Basil are still legally your parents.
Actually, they're not. I had that paper signed.
Those signatures were neither witnessed nor notarized. So, unless anyone here has an objection, I'm releasing you back into their temporary joint custody. This case is dismissed.
Well, that was the opposite of getting emancipated.
But it's hard to do that because when you have child actors, it doesn't hit as hard. So either you have a child actor and you see the growing pains of like the family dynamic, or you have an adult actor with their parents and they've already adjusted because they've known each other for so long. So stories like Switched at Birth and Life Unexpected, where they're thrown into being the parents of these kids that they didn't know existed or that they didn't realize were like still going to come in their life, was just so good. So good. So fantastic. Like, I loved it. I think that it wrapped up poorly. I think it could have gotten another season and wrapped up perfectly. Like, just like one half a season stint, and it could have wrapped up perfectly. So that's why I think that CW fumbled the bag on that. Now, my last CW show that I'm gonna hit is Star-Crossed. Star-Crossed was a show, again, I love shows that have undertones of like, is this about Black people? Like, is this about people of color? Oh my God. Basically, it was in a world where aliens exist. Well, that's the world we're living in because aliens do exist. In a world where aliens have come to Earth and they have basically been turned into second-class citizens, they finally get to go to school with normal people or with humans, and it just goes haywire.
Everybody off.
Goes crazy. Of course, it's not absolutely fair. They're treated unjustly. They're treated terribly. And because they're treated terribly, in every situation, you have your Malcolm X and you have your Martin Luther King. And we were following the main character who was a little more Martin Luther King than Malcolm X, but his best friend was very Malcolm X. But his best friend, Drake, he had the best storyline. Like, he wasn't the main character. The main characters were okay. Like, they were, like, cool. You know, it was a very Twilight-esque love story of, like, alien and human. Like, oh my God, blah, 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 blah. But the best part of that story was Drake. And I cannot remember that girl's name. I can't remember her name. But Drake and the other girl, the blonde girl.
Zoe, I need to have a talk.
Well, where are you going, beautiful?
Beautiful. Yeah. Really? That's the best you can do. After we hooked up, then you ignore me and start hanging out with my best friend.
Nobody is ignoring you. All right? At least not in that dress.
Like, he was a freedom fighter, basically. He was an aggressor. He was the Malcolm X of this situation, but he ended up falling in love with a human, and she was pregnant. She ended up pregnant. That's how they ended it. She was pregnant. We didn't get to see the baby born. We found out she was pregnant. He found out she was pregnant. They fell in love. Like, he was just an experiment to her. And she was just like this thing that like he could stick his penis inside of. But like, they ended up falling in love.
Because it was about my mother. She was in prison for a bunch of years. And having her back's been a lot harder than I thought it would be. What we have, right, it's not all about sex. I've been on my own most of my life. And it takes a lot for me to trust anyone. So maybe you could just stick it out while I learn to be with you.
I spent my afternoon with Grayson. And he was saying things that made no sense. But I have to know. You are a good guy, right?
No, I'm not. But you make me want to be one.
Having a baby, being pregnant, but we didn't get to see any of that payoff because the show was canceled. And it's really sad that the show was canceled because that is a good story. Like, that could be its own show. If they had given that show a spinoff of Drake and the girl and what would happen when everyone found out that there was an alien hybrid baby on the loose, that would be killer. That would sell movie tickets, guys. Like, that's crazy. That's so good. It's so good. But, like, we will never see that, unfortunately, unless someone eventually wants to pick it up. I don't know. Who knows? Like, I won't be mad. Netflix, grab it. If you can, grab that bag. I'll watch it. We're going to talk about ABC. Now, ABC is near and dear to my heart. I love ABC. They are a part of Walt Disney. Disney grew me. Disney birthed me. I grew up on Disney Channel original movies. Double Team. The 13th Year. Like, those are still some of my favorite movies. I still don't understand what happened in Miracle and something or Motocross, but like, great movies. So ABC is always very close to my heart. I made a video about how Freeform fumbled its bag, and now I have to address its parent company, ABC. It's hard, but I have to do it for the people. You have fumbled so many bags, ABC. It's astounding because you don't cancel shows a lot, but you have fumbled several bags. That's where I'm very confused at. I've looked at the history of ABC. They don't cancel shows. They don't cancel shows often. Like, hello, they don't. It's just not in their nature, especially not after one season. Like, that's wild for them. But they still have managed to fumble several bags. Let's talk about it. The first show I'm going to talk about is called Conviction. Conviction is such a great show. It is so good. Haley Atwell was the leader of this beautiful team. Like, Haley Atwell, our goddess and queen, who was Miss Carter. She was great. She was great. I didn't like Peggy until I saw Marvel's Miss Carter or Marvel's Peggy Carter, something. Carter. I'm pretty sure her last name is Carter. Anyways, I didn't like her until I saw that show and I saw Haley Atwell, and I love Haley Atwell. I will watch whatever Haley Atwell is in because she is amazing. She is just amazing. And she was the leader of this show about basically people who were a system of redemption. They took on cases of people who could have been wrongly convicted, and they had to prove that these people were wrongly convicted to be able to, like, get them out of jail. Like, that was the whole point of the show, and it was amazing. It was so amazing. It was such a good show. I watched it in college with my friend. We would watch it on Hulu like the day after it came out, we would gather in her room on her TV, pop some popcorn, and we would watch that show and be like, oh my god, I can't wait till next episode. It's so good, it's so good. And let's not forget who was in it. Our king from Good Girls was in it. Like,
Sam's right, I'm done. We have to have some kind of priority, and this bigot ain't gonna be mine.
You sure about that?
Yeah, I am.
Okay, you're fired.
Frankie, no. You can't. This is a good job, one that's not easy for someone with your record to get. Don't throw it away just because your boss is being a bitch.
love him. Love him. He is so beautiful. He is so fantastic. Oh my god. Like, I still quote him all the time. Hold on, let's see if I can do the quote. You want to be the king, you gotta kill the king. This stuff's medieval, darling. I love him. I love him. And he just played such a great role.
Penance. Yeah, you going to law school, working at the Innocence Project, and now here. You're looking for forgiveness. There could be another way. Ask for it.
And again, all of the characters on this show had a backstory as to how they made it onto this team. And it was just so riveting to see these backstories unfold. The blonde girl, like, she had this whole deep backstory about how she misidentified a killer.
My aunt was murdered.
Like, it was just so good. It was so good. It kind of told the other side of the justice system that we don't get to see very often. And sadly, it was canceled. It was let go too soon. Too soon, ABC. Too soon. Now, let's go to our next one. Our next one is Single Parent. Single Parent was the comeback show, baby. And when I say it's the comeback show, because it was the comeback show of our favorite Gossip Girl.
That's because your tastes include sleeping with your driver and popping prescription meds. Oh, you would know. 3 DUIs now, is it? Not that I blame you. Her way to escape the whispers that you made your money in adult entertainment websites.
Leighton Meester. If you don't know who Leighton Meester is, you should stop this video and go Google her, because she is Blair Waldorf, bitch. Okay? She is the queen of Gossip Girl. Serena can kick rocks, okay? Kick rocks. Anyways, Leighton Meester is a phenomenal actress, one of the best actresses. Up until Single Parent came out, she was one of those actresses like Nicole Anderson, like, where I was like, I love you so much, where have you been? Like, TV needs this hero right now. And Single Parent had 2 seasons. It was a great story of like these group of single parents that had to raise these like basically kindergartners.
You guys, we have got to deal with him.
I just wanted to circle back.
Let me say it plain. We're not going to do anything you want us to do.
We're single parents. We don't volunteer. We just try and survive until a time in the day when it's appropriate to open wine.
And as a previous kindergartner teacher, it ain't easy. But it told the story of this network of people who are completely different, but were all brought together by just the fact that they all had kids by themselves. And it became this beautiful story with crazy hijinks that was super hilarious.
Talk about my feelings? You'll have to torture me.
What? I'm not gonna torture a child.
Just do it, coward.
Okay, Dory, go ahead.
Okay. I'll talk. Dressing alike is our thing. We're a team.
And Amy, how do you feel about that?
I won't crack. Do your worst.
All right, Rory, do the thing.
You sick twist! Fine, I'll spill. I just want to be my own person for once.
Okay, first of all, this child torture thing is very disturbing, though deeply on brand.
And it was canceled after 2 seasons. It was just canceled. Why? Like, it was so good. It was so good. The storylines were deep but funny. It was like just deep enough to still be a comedy, but like just super funny to cover up the deepness, like trick you into learning lessons.
You are a grown man. All right, you can handle your parents getting divorced. The thing you should really be upset about is that they are going to die. Not today, but soon. You do it again.
and again until the Earth collides with the sun and our souls are finally free.
Mia was miserable, we would fight nonstop, and then we split. And now every time I see her face, all I want to do is yell, "Give me back my 20s!"
I love that. I love when people trick me into learning. And I don't understand why it was gone. The next one I'm going to talk about is hard for me because this was one of my favorite shows when it came out. It was very underrated. It was a Shonda Rhimes show, which is like real hard for Shonda Rhimes not to get 17,000 seasons. Like How to Get Away with Murder, Scandal, Grey's Anatomy that is still alive and kicking. ABC, why?
Shut up and get out of my room!
Meredith.
Get her out of here before I kill her!
Like, why is that show still on? Man, we're gonna hold it in. Anyways, what I'm trying to say is that show that I'm about to talk about was amazing. It's called Still Star-Crossed. For those of you who didn't take English in elementary, in middle, and high school, and don't just generally pay attention to pop culture references, it's about the story of Romeo and Juliet. But wait, there's more. It's after Romeo and Juliet kill themselves, after those dumb children kill themselves. It tells the story of Rosaline and Benvolio and how they, because there's this new order of peace, have to get married. Yes, married. Married. They have to get married because there's this new order of peace between the Montagues and the Capulets, and because they're both from separate families, they will bind the families forever. It was this very interesting and deep story. The prince was in love with Rosaline. Again, we have a female black lead. Oh my god, she was amazing. And the guy who played Benvolio, super hot, but super talented actor.
I told you I didn't want you to come with me.
And I told you I didn't care. I feel responsible for you.
You shouldn't.
I know. I've never been responsible for anyone before. Who knew it would be so deadly?
Won't let them kill you. I swear it.
What will you say in my defense?
That you're innocent. And kind.
He was so talented. It was riveting. The characters that just came, her little sister, there was so many great character buildings. There were so many great moments, and they only had a short season. I think they had like 13, 15 episodes, and all the episodes were always so action-packed, so ready for everything. There's so much that happened in such a small time. Again, ending on a cliffhanger. You get to see someone good turn evil. You get to see someone evil turn good. It's just... It was like the deepest root of who we are as people in literature, but personified through the screen and the mind of a genius woman, Shonda Rhimes. And it was just cut off too soon. It was cut off way too soon. And also the guy from Rain, our favorite hobo. I always call him a hobo, even though he wasn't a hobo. He was like the brother of the king, like the bastard son of the king. He's in it too, so... You fumbled the bag. There's another bag. Fumbled, guys. And with that being said, that's what I have for ABC. Maybe I'll have more in the next video, but for now, those are the three I will focus on because those are the ones that hurt my heart the most. Now, can you guys guess the last one? Can you guess the last channel I'm going to be talking about? It's one of my favorite channels, NBC. NBC is known for its great shows. Like, we all know NBC gives us the goods, and for a long time they give us the goods. 30 Rock, amazing. Saturday Night Live, stunning showmanship. But NBC is not without its faults and not without its bags that have been fumbled, okay? It's not any different than any of these shows. It fumbles its bags too, guys. It does. And here's our time to talk about it. The first show I'm going to talk about is Crisis. Crisis was a show all about the president's son. It wasn't about the president's son, if we're being honest. It's about a bunch of kids that go to this school, Alacory in the house.
He's the ambassador from Bahavia. Corey, this is my friend Newt Livingston.
Livingston?
Like the Livingston's? Is your dad a senator and your mom's on the Supreme Court?
Yeah.
Yo.
Yeah, she's Chief of Justice or something.
This is Jason Stickler. His father runs the CIA.
Oh.
All the most important diplomats and all these different people, all their most high arc people in the U.S. government send their children to this school.
These people in here are used to being first in line. So get ready, because they're all going to want answers, and there will be no lying.
They go on a field trip to build Habitat for Humanity houses.
Working with Homes for Humankind to build houses in New York.
I'm your mother, Amber. I get to worry.
I don't know, something to fluff their resumes when they all inevitably apply to Stanford or Harvard or Brown, or no one's applying to Brown. Not if you're a child of a diplomat. Cornell, who knows? MIT, whatever. Caltech, who cares? Anyways, all these kids wanted to fluff their resume, and there are a couple kids that are there, but they're like scholarship kids. And of course, I saw the show and I was like, oh yeah, like Jillian's in it. I fucking love Jillian. She's so good. Such a great actress. Like, I watch almost anything she's in. She's phenomenal. Watch her in Sex Education. Like, she's fucking dope. But I originally found this show because of Max Schneider. Max Schneider, y'all. Max Schneider and Halston Sage, I believe her name is. Or I'm convincing her, I think I might be mixing her up with somebody else from Nickelodeon. But both Max Schneider and this other girl, the blonde girl, they were on How to Rock on Nickelodeon. Nickelodeon. One of my favorite shows that was also canceled too soon. Maybe on a future list, guys. Maybe in next episode.
Each morning with strawberry skies, 'cause I get so lost in your blueberry eyes. I'm running through my dreams to see you in my life, 'cause I get so lost in your blueberry eyes. Make it come brighter. How you love me is on fire. 10 hours later, taking me higher.
Anyways, it was on a show that was canceled way too soon called How to Rock. They're both super, super talented, great actors, hilarious. And I was like, oh, great, dope. They get to work together again on a show. I'm definitely going to watch it. So I went and I watched it, saw Jillian was in there. And I was like, Jillian's in this? Okay, I definitely have to watch it. It's this super interesting drama about all these kids getting kidnapped and them being taken for ransom to be able to manipulate different things in the government because all their parents hold so much power.
As you can tell from the way you were taken, we are professionals. We know what we are doing, and we'll get you all home safely if you respect that. If you do not respect that, we are also very comfortable with the use of force. Are there any questions?
Now, I have not mentioned the best part about this show. The best part about this show is that Lance Gross is in it, y'all. Lancelot. Our Sir Chocolate Fineness is in it, y'all. He is an FBI Homeland Security. I said Homeland Security. I meant Secret Service, man. He's a Secret Service guy whose job it is to protect these kids. So he's trying to find them as quickly as possible and figure out where they are because it was his job to protect the president's son, and now the president's son is missing. So it's basically this chess game, this in-depth and beautiful chess game used with these kids. And the thing about it is that, yes, all the parents are very interesting. Lance is beautiful. Jillian plays her role greatly. The guy who's the dad, who's a chaperone, is a great actor and like fools everyone sometimes. But the kids were such great actors and had such weird dynamics going on.
Okay. Your father used to work for the government, right?
We weren't supposed to talk about it, but he worked for the CIA.
CIA? They are totally gonna tune your father up. C-I-F-N-A.
Get out of here. Nothing will ever be the same, will it?
It'll be the same.
It'll be about what happened here. Who got out, who didn't, who died. They did to us.
Amber, I know you.
You don't have to let this be your life.
But it is. It's already started.
It kind of showed the power of, not the power, but the weakness behind the power, because like, you get to see the weakness behind the powerful parents and it's their children, but then you see the weakness behind these powerful children and what they're dealing with every day and how they adjust to the situation of being kidnapped, of their new normal. It was insane, but it was still super, super good, and I super, super loved it, and I highly, highly recommend it, even though it's canceled and we will never see the end. Our next one is The Carmichael Show. The Carmichael Show, much like Life Unexpected, has many seasons, many being like 3 or 4, but I think it was canceled too soon. The Carmichael Show was one of my favorite shows to watch, period. It was made by Gerard Carmichael, who is a close friend of Bo Burnham, who you all know I love to death. Would take a bullet, not a bullet. I spoke too soon, not a bullet. Would take like a spitting on the foot for him. But he's so good, Gerard Carmichael. He told a dynamic story and a true story to the Black culture and the Black experience.
A little nervous when you're in the room. As a safety precaution, we are now lifting our hands up into the air. No sudden movements. Now we got to treat these officers like bears.
He had great actors and actresses. He has one of the most iconic actresses.
Living in sin, just nasty.
She's like a pinnacle in the Black community of shows because she always ends up singing somehow, and she does in this show. It basically took all these issues about race, about equality, about like voting, about all these things, and it showed a light. But the thing about it is that it showed a light on both sides of the spectrum.
When do you plan on having children?
Bobby and Akeisha got divorced 3 months ago.
We do not get divorces in this family. We just suffer through it. Maybe it's my fault. I let you boys form your own opinions when I should have been ramming my opinions down your throat. I should have seen this coming when you got suspended from elementary school for refusing to say the Pledge of Allegiance.
It is ridiculous to ask a kid to pledge allegiance to anything. They wanted me to vow loyalty to a country 6 months after I found out Santa Claus wasn't real.
This is America we're talking about. It's not like we asked you to say the Pledge of Allegiance to some crappy country like Slovakia. That would be ridiculous. I mean, I don't even think they got a pledge in Slovakia.
It showed the generational difference. It showed the color difference. It showed all these different characters, the difference between growing up wealthy and growing up poor. And it was so good. It was so good because it was basically every episode, again, was a lesson, kind of. Not a lesson, but just a informative. It's like Patriot Act with Hassan Minaj. Like, it's like informative, but it's hella funny. It's so funny. It's so good. It's just so good. I don't understand why it was canceled. I think he was kind of like wanted to make what he wanted to make, and then they kind of wanted to control what he was making, and he was like, nah, bruh, I would rather leave. I'm out. So, and that's how it ended, but it was such a good show.
I'm serious about ending my life, and I need your blessing. Uh-oh. Snickerdoodle's ready.
Grandma wants to go out on top. I mean, wouldn't you have rather seen Michael Jordan retire after hitting that three-pointer against the Jazz in '98 instead of seeing this dude way past his prime in a Wizards jersey? Don't make Grandma play for the Wizards. Hey, friends. When it comes to drugs and alcohol, there are 3 words that could save your life. Just say when. Knowing your limits is an important part of being an adult. You want to do just enough to have fun at a party or be creative, but too much can send you down the wrong path. Use substances. Don't abuse substances, because the more you know yourself, the more you know your limits.
So funny, so deep, so well produced that I was sad to see it go. But we can't do anything about it now. Our last show is one of the shows that I'm most upset about. I'm most peeved off about, okay? I'm upset. I'm upset. It's called The Brave, okay? This show it came out before Valor came out, and Valor just felt like a knockoff of The Brave. It was this great show about a special ops group in the military, and my favorite character was, first of all the characters had nicknames, which was my favorite.
United States Army Captain Adam Dalton.
Former CIA field officer Emir Rasani.
Chief Petty Officer, United States Navy, Ezekiel Preachcart.
First Sergeant, United States Army, Joseph McGee McGuire.
I've got the tango on his left. Primary sniper. Trained with Delta Force. Fluent in French and Arabic. Key undercover operative able to pass for multiple ethnicities. Uses gender to move anonymously in hostile territory. United States Army Sergeant Jasmine Jazz Khan.
Jazz, Top, Preach, but all of these characters again could have had their own shows if they wanted to. They were so deep and dynamic, and I feel like if they had continued the show, they could have done like this thing where you had a mini series, like just an online mini web series, and like it could be like each of their lives when they're not together, when they're not at the height of danger each time. Basically, they went into the most dangerous situations and they saved people.
There's no cavalry.
We are the cavalry.
They killed people and they completed their missions, but they were a family. It was the epitome of King Arthur-ness, that you know, they were the round table of people of the military. They were the round table of the military. It was so good. Jazz and Top had this awesome dynamic. Hannah, who used to be a field agent but turned into a behind the desk person, was like an analyst. Like it was so deep and so thought out and so good, so good. Such crazy characters. A female boss, a man, like it was just so good. They were so dedicated to their roles as well. They like worked out so hard for these roles and tried to keep like in shape for like, it was so good. The writing, the characters, it blossomed beautifully, but it ended with a cliffhanger of our favorite character Preach being in pain, and that is what upsets me. If you tell me what happened to Preach, I promise I will put my rifle down. I don't have a rifle, guys. That's just expression.
Started with the number 0, now I'm in the thousands. When I told the people I could do this, I was doubted. Everybody looking for the gold, but now they found it. Everybody trying to get me smoke, but I'm a clown, bitch.
If you don't like me, go away. If you won't fight me, go away. If you don't like dreams, go away. If you dream brightly, call.
But it just blew my mind because they had the better show. They genuinely had the better show. Like Seal had came out with Booth from Bones. Valor came out on the CW, and they were like kind of similar concepts, but that show out of the three was the best. But that was the one that got canceled first. It kind of confused me. It didn't make sense. When you have the better product, you just need to market your product better. Like, you already know your stuff is better than what the other two are selling. So market it better, and you will get all of their views, because they're getting views because people will like that content. You have the same content, but better. Just take their views. Hello? Economics. But with that being said, that is the last show I'm going to talk about for this video. Maybe I'll have a part 2. Maybe I'll talk about a different one. Nickelodeon, I'm coming for you next. Maybe Disney too. Who knows? But that's where I'm going to wrap up. All of these shows were beautifully written, greatly acted, and unfairly cut off without any resolution. And that's the part that I think really bugs me. When Sense8 on Netflix was cut off, the fans made such a ruckus about it that they had to give it a movie just to wrap it up. And I just want that. I just want mini movies to wrap up all of these storylines properly, the way they deserved. And I don't know if they can happen, but I don't think so, because those actors are probably busy. But I do appreciate it. I appreciate the stuff that you gave us and the time that you did. But I just hope that this lets you know sometimes everything isn't about ratings, which is hard because you're a business. I get it. But like, just general content that makes your viewers happy should be enough sometimes. I'm Yummy.com. that is it, internet friends. Don't worry, I will be back, so stay tuned.